Hi everyone, I hope my screen is visible to you. Okay. So, welcome to the AWS Cloud Security Masters Program. So, today we're going to learn about the AWS Solutions Architect. So, the certification, all right. So, what's the significance of it? So, let's begin with that. All right. So, just a quick
Akriti,
question for everyone.
excuse me. Akriti, your screen is not visible.
It's not visible. All right. Thank you for the info. One second. It's actually sharing screen from my end. Can someone else confirm me if it's visible? Because I am presenting here. Let me just
Oh.
share it once again, probably. Just a
Yes.
minute.
Yeah, it's visible.
Sorry, it was visible. Is
Yes,
it
yes,
visible now?
No,
yes.
it's not. Akriti, it's not visible for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, it must be some problem at your end. You might want to fix that because I think it's visible for everyone else. All right, it's fine. You can just hear it and then you can watch the recording on our YouTube as
No
well,
issue, no
right?
issue, no issue, no
Yeah.
issue, no issue
All
at
right,
all.
that's great. Okay. So here on your screen, everyone, so we have two resumes here. So suppose you are a recruiter, right? And you want to, hire someone in your company. So which is the resume that's more appealing to you? Is it the first one or the second one? And I really want to know the reason. Why did you choose the choice that you made? If anyone wants to volunteer for the answer, they are completely welcomed here. They can turn off their mics and answer me.
Yes. So one resume mention the certification for,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and one resume not include any certification. So I think second one will be more effective.
Yeah, you're completely right about that. So, in fact, it's very important today. It's such a competitive industry. You would always want to, be in the eyes of the recruiters. So it's very important that you have certifications under your belt, right? Because it's like the attracting point for them, right? So that is why, like, we have created this program, which I'm going to introduce you later on in this presentation. So on that note, I'm going to introduce our trainer for today, or the trainer for the complete AWS course. So we have Sid here. He is a cloud engineer and he has over 5 years of experience in the industry. So he has many different, certifications, be it pen test, and we also have AWS Solutions Architect. We have CEH V12, DevOps, and even DevSecOps. So yeah, of course, he's an all-rounder, and of course, since he works on it as an engineer in the industry, you're going to learn a lot from him, or what goes inside the industry and how it works. So definitely, that's a pro thing for you. And the agenda for today's live session, it's going to be introduction to AWS Cloud, why AWS is actually one of the most desirable cloud computing service providers in the industry and why you should go for it. Okay, and what's the future of AWS? How you can, increase your potential in the industry to be more desirable as an AWS cloud engineer, and you'll also get some career guidance. And of course, if you have some questions, you can definitely clear them out at the end of the session once our engineer would clear things out for you. So, okay, let me introduce you to our master's program that I was talking about. So, we have the AWS Cloud Security Master's Program. So, what exactly is this program? Okay, so this program is actually a combination of three different programs that are some of the most desired programs in the industry. So, we have starting with the basic AWS Solutions Architect Associate level, that is going to last for 2 months. We also have AWS Security for 2 months. And then we also have AWS Advanced Network Specialty. So, of course, you're going to become an all rounder. So, you're going to learn about the security part and networking as well. And that is such a win-win situation for you. So you're going to get the career roadmaps with us. You're going to get the exam guidance in case you want to, go for the certifications. And then you're also going to get the recordings of the session in case you miss any of them. Of course, you'll get the recordings. So next up we have is why your chances to land a job in an AWS solutions architect are high. So, of course, the first path to land a job is to search on various platforms, such as we have Indeed, we have Naukri.com, we have Glassdoor, and many more. So, currently, there are over 11,000 plus job, available on all these portals combined. So, of course, the chances are really high. But as you mentioned earlier, we discussed that you really need to have certifications in your resume so that you can land, good packages. So, on that note, actually, I would like to ask from our trainer, Sid, I hope he's here. So, Sid, I would like to, answer a question here. Are you here? Can I get a hi or something that you're here? Okay, never mind. I'll just continue with it. And you guys can definitely resolve your queries with him during the session. So, okay, there's something I would like to introduce you as an ongoing offer that we are going to have right now. All right. So, we have a flat 15,000 rupees off offer on all our master's programs. So the one I mentioned as well, the AWS Cloud Security Master's Program, you can actually get 15,000 off, and this offer is only till Sunday. So make sure that you make full use of it. And in case if you're still not clear about the program, that what is it or what's the right choice for you, considering your background or whatever you're doing right now, so what you can do is you can actually connect free of cost with our career counselors. All you have to do is you have to go on nwkings.com/meeting, and you can then directly book a meeting with a career counselor. So it's going to be a one-on-one, career counseling session for you, and you would get a lot of clarity that what is right for you. On that note, you can actually make a good decision that what's supposed to be for you and how you can go about the things, or if this master's program is meant for you or not. Okay, so on that note, we also have our students' testimonials. We have actually transformed over 40,000 careers, and we are still continuing to do that. A lot of students, they come from non-technical backgrounds and they have switched to technical roles with us. So of course, we have changed a lot of careers successfully. So if you even want to do that, you can definitely connect to our career counselors, as I mentioned, or you can go to our website nwkings.com and you can serve all our courses and you will gain a lot of clarity. So that's all from my side, and I would like our engineer to take over so that he can continue with the details. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Akriti. I'm
Thank you.
audible? I'm audible?
Yes, yes, audible.
Yeah. Thank you, Akriti, for this valuable information. And let me share my screen first. Yeah, tell me. My screen is visible to you guys?
Uh, I think not. Can you just mouse on over there?
Yeah, definitely,
Actually, Sanjay,
definitely.
it's visible.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes, yes,
visible.
yes. Visual.
It's
Correct.
visible, huh?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Akriti, for this valuable
Most
information.
welcome. Most
Yeah.
welcome.
Now I'm just going to continue. First of all, I would like to give my short introduction here, right? See, uh, my name is Sanjay Sharma, and I have almost 25 years of experience in the field of IT and the IT related fields because I worked as a project manager, I worked as a engineer, I worked as a the process manager. So I was in a different roles. But since the beginning, I'm only delivering my technical services to companies. I worked with many companies like Tata Newell, NIT Limited, CDAC. I was providing my services to armed forces like Indian Air Force, Army, Navy, so multiple. So guys, uh, generally, basically, I am from the networking background as well as the security background, and I have almost 16 years of experience in cloud. So since this basically the field came in last decade, in the beginning of the last decade, so almost 14 or 15 years, sorry. So I'm teaching Azure, I'm teaching AWS, architect, solution architect, and security, as well as the professional level of certifications, and many others. And I'm also teaching the penetration testing, ethical hacking, and Microsoft, CCNA, ITIL, multiple things. So this is my short introduction. So in the beginning, I would like to start this uh, lecture. Means what exactly is AWS? Some people are basically confused to take the AWS. So AWS is basically a cloud platform, and AWS is a comprehensive and widely adopted cloud platform offered by Amazon. Amazon is the name of a company, and it provides a wide array of cloud computing services such as compute resource, compute power, storage, networking, database, and many more, and which businesses and individuals can access over the internet. So AWS is a leading cloud provider used by millions of customers globally to run various workloads from simple websites to large scale enterprise applications. And one of the key benefits of AWS is it's a pay as you go pricing model. It means you will only pay what you use. So I'll come actually and I'll start, I'll teach you each and everything. And this training is going to be 100% lab oriented. Just understand, right? So I will focus on labs. I will focus on scenarios. I will focus on the way usually people ask in production environment, right? So at the time of interview, you should have a real knowledge. So I will try to pass on my experience to you, right? I will try to share my experience with you. The only thing is required from your side is your time, dedicated time. Dedication is required. Okay. So guys, uh, I'll start with what is the cloud computing. So first of all, and then I'll tell you what should be the flow of the training, right? So uh, which particular topic I'll take first, and then later on. So cloud computing. See, I'm using actually the Miro whiteboard here. I don't use slides and all. So, and at the end of every session, I'll share the PDF of this board to you so that you will have updated notes with you. So what is the cloud computing? The cloud computing basically is a hosted services over the internet. Means the internet is a important and mandatory component here. For example, right? Without the internet, you cannot access cloud computing. You should have internet. So it means if you have internet using browser, the first of all you log in into your cloud, let's say whether it's Azure, AWS, GCP, Alibaba, whatever. And from there, you access architecture, you access resources, you access services, right? You can do anything. I'll explain you how you can do that. So in the beginning, what is the cloud computing? The delivery of hosted services over the internet is known as cloud computing. When I say delivery of hosted services, what is the meaning of hosted services? The hosted services, maybe you want to maybe you want to uh, show off your website, web application, maybe the gaming website, maybe your the generic website, maybe the website like e-commerce website. So if you have any kind of web application or website, you can means host that website in cloud, number one. So isn't that website basically you are delivering to your client through the cloud, that comes under the hosted services. Secondly, for example, you have a DNS server. You configure a DNS server, and now people are using that DNS server. That comes in the hosted services. Let's say you have an email server, and you want to basically provide the services of your email server to your client. So that also comes under the hosted services. But AWS is more than that. Just understand, AWS is really vast. When you dive into cloud computing, we have a different type of services. I'll talk about all those things right now in the beginning. So the only thing is, if somebody is asking what is a cloud computing, so you will say the delivery of hosted services over the internet. What are the hosted services? So here we have a whole list of hosted services. We have a different type of services like infrastructure as a services. Means you can create servers, you can create container, you can manage storage, you can manage network of your architecture, right? So that comes under the hosted services. But all these are infrastructure as a service, means you can manage your infrastructure. Secondly, there is a platform as a service. What is a platform as a service? Platform means application hosting, database management, middleware services. I'll explain you. So sometimes because you need to listen what is IaaS and platform as a service and a software as a service, that I'll explain you. But right now I'm just telling you what are the hosted services. So infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, function as a service, storage as a service, security as a service, disaster recovery as a service, database as a service, networking as a service, and artificial intelligence as a service, right? So these all type of services comes under hosted services, right? This all comes under the hosted services. Just understand this is very, very important. Now, when you see your data center, so data center looks like this, right? Because you have multiple racks. Within the racks, you have routers, servers, switches, and all those are connected with each other through the cables. We have a different type of cables, the copper cable and fiber optic cable, right? So it depends on the what kind of hardware you have. Accordingly, you can connect your all devices. So managed data center. Managed means well managed data center. So I'll again come on that. So what is a data center? If you have any question, any query, guys, you can ask in between as well. If you are just facing some issue, right? If the things are not clear, you may ask. Now, this is your modern data center. This is kind of a data center is a modern data center in which you can see all these racks. Even you don't see cables. So the cables are definitely there. The cables are there, routers are there, switches are there, servers are there, storages are there. But everything is so managed effectively and efficiently, means you don't see anything here, right? We have the different bays here. Bays means the gap between these rows of the racks is called the base, right? Now, and the heat and air conditioner and ventilation system also is well equipped here. And this is a modern data center. Now, what I'm doing here in the beginning, because I don't want to consume more time, the number of theoretical chapters we can include here. But I'll share all these notes with you, so you just go and see. My question is, my question is why we are choosing AWS. AWS. There must be some reason, because we have Azure, we have GCP, we have Alibaba, we have Oracle uh, Cloud. Then why we are choosing AWS? This is the main question arises. The number one, the first thing is more than 200 fully featured services are available. What are the services? In cloud computing, if you want to create a machine, you will use a service. What I'm saying, if you want to create a machine, you will use a service, and with the help of service, you will create a machine. So service is required, number one, for every task. Let's say, for example, you want to create a network, so you need a service. You want to manage your storage, you need a service. You want to create or manage your database server, you need a service. You want to run a program in a serverless manner, you need a service. For every purpose, we have service. And in aws in AWS, more than 200 fully featured services are there. When I say fully featured means every service will have minor services within this. Means every service will have number of services within that service, right? So it's a really elaborated. Now, the total major and minor services, if you count major services as well as the minor services, the total count goes beyond 1,500. So you can imagine, right? You normally you normally consume 3 to 4 days to learn about a service, and we have more than 1,500 services. So these services belongs to various fields. I'll tell you what those fields are. And the third is AWS is agile, right? AWS is AWS is agile. Agile means what you need that you have. Let's say you want to you need a storage. Yes, we have. We want to manage our network. For that, do we have a service? Yes, we have. We need to manage our database servers, the different type of database servers. Do we have services? Yes, we have. We want to scale our resources. Yes, we can do. We want to uh, means take the backup of our systems. Do we have the services for that? Yes, we have. So everything what you can think, you can do in AWS. That's why we call it as a agile. This is a agile. And secondly, AWS global infrastructure is really vast. The presence of AWS on this globe is really countable. More than 33 live regions we have. I'll tell you what are the regions, what is global infrastructure. I'm just telling you why we need to choose AWS, because of the global infrastructure. Total 33 live regions we have, more than 105 availability zones in these 33 regions, globally available. And every availability zone basically is a group of data center. In every availability zones, you will have multiple data centers, right? And more than 600 edge locations. Edge locations basically is for the buffering purpose. I'll explain you later. But edge location is a part of global cloud infrastructure, AWS global infrastructure, and 135 direct connect to connect your private data centers with AWS. So all over the world, as of now, we have 135 direct connect, and day by day, the global infrastructure is basically improving. AWS is adding something in it, right? The AWS is adding something in it. You will say the earlier when I started in the beginning, only 16 regions were there. Now we have 33 regions, and from 66 availability zones these days, you can say almost doubled, right? The numbers are doubled, and the direct connect, the 135 locations. This is a big number. Not only this, we have 41 local zones and 29 wavelength zones. So all these are the part of AWS global infrastructure. So what I was trying to explain you that AWS has a very rich, very wide, very wide global infrastructure. And the most important, AWS is providing AWS free tier account for learning purpose. Let's say, for example, you are new for AWS, you don't know anything about AWS, right? You want to learn. But definitely, as we are not professionals for now, we are learning. We are students, right? We need to learn first AWS, then definitely we can have some professional services. So in AWS free tier account, the same services the people are using in their production environment, the same services with the same potential you can use in AWS free tier account. And this AWS free tier account is available for 12 months, for the entire year, right? For 1 year, it is available free of cost. AWS is not charging anything if you are not using any paid resources. You should not use any paid resources. AWS is providing the quota in each and every service to enhance your learning, right? And the next is high performance. AWS data centers are basically
So,
using, hello,
hello.
yeah, yeah.
या सर वो एक्चुअली एवल्टी जोन मेरे को थोड़ा सा मतलब एक्चुअल लेवल लैंग्वेज समझाएंगे क्या है मतलब एग्जैक्टली एवल्टी जोन.
Madan, right now, actually, I'm only just talking about why the AWS is required. I didn't start the availability zone right now. But if you
ओके
want
ओके.
to understand, see, this is a diagram. This is a region. Because you asked me, that's why I'm just telling you. But this is not a right time to just talk about availability zone. Let's say this is a region. Region is what? The region is a geographical location. Let's say Mumbai is a region. In India, Mumbai is a region. And within a certain diameter, let's say 100-kilometer diameter, this is a region. And within this, you have multiple data centers. So the group of data centers, a group of certain data centers are known as availability zone. And these availability zones are meant for providing high availability. So with the help of these availability zones, means you can provide high availability. Let's say these are the data centers. If you create a one machine here, for example, you have one machine here. Let's say a red color machine. I'm showing you. This is very easy to understand. Let's say this is the one machine is there in red color in one data center. This green color box is a data center. So the group of data centers is known as availability zone. Are you getting me, Madan?
यस यस यस.
What is means logical grouping of data center, logical grouping of data centers known as availability zone. So let's say you have one machine in a one availability zone. So in order to provide high availability, the same set of machine you can create in a different availability zone. If you are means placing your machine in different availability zone, so that machine would be in a different data centers. The machines are same, but they are in a different availability zones. So what you are achieving? You are achieving high availability. Even if one data center goes down because of any some technical reason, it doesn't happen normally, usually, but just assume 0.00001%. If it goes down, so you have another machine available in another data center in order to provide high availability continuity of your application. So this is the purpose of availability zone. Okay, I think now it is clear. So high performance, I was talking about AWS, AWS data centers, AWS global infrastructure is known for high performance because you don't have any practical experience. But if you use any other cloud computing environment, you will feel that AWS is much faster, much responsive, right? Much faster, much responsive. So it is really very, very fast because why it is fast? Why it is means very prompt? Because of the Intel Xeon family processors. So in AWS data centers, AWS is using Intel Xeon based microprocessors, and these are server level of microprocessors providing very high speed, right? Immediately you can create a machine, I'll tell you. And deployment speed, the deployment speed means immediately the machine will be deployed. The provisioning of the machine will not take much time, within a few seconds. So tell me one thing. I think number of people are attending me. Let me one thing very clearly. I think you will have some idea. You might have installed an operating system somewhere in your life, right? So, how much time generally you take to install an operating system and prepare your machine? So, how much time you normally take? How much time you normally take? Do you have any idea?
It's I think 10 to 20 minutes.
10 to
10
20
minutes.
minutes is very, no, no,
10,
within
10
a
minutes.
10, no, 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 Madan. In 10 minutes, you cannot install any operating system. If you want to install and configure your operating system, you will need at least 45 minutes, at least.
Okay, okay.
If you have a,
Actually,
let's say,
I
if
usually
you,
use for
no,
virtual
no,
machine like that.
no, even if it's a virtual machine, if you are installing operating system, if you configure your operating system for your production environment, it would at least take 45 minutes, at least I'm saying. And
Oh,
in
yes,
case
yes.
of in case of Linux machine, yeah, definitely you can say 20 to 30 minutes it would take to install and configure. But in cloud computing, the same task you can complete within a minute. I'll tell you. And we have a large number of the security option as well. Why? I'm telling you only why AWS. Because of infrastructure, because of number of services, because AWS is providing free tier account for 1 year, not for 2 months, 3 months. AWS is not providing any credit to use AWS. No. So AWS is providing an account that is free for one entire year, right? And the performance is very high. Deployment speed is extremely high. It will take very, very less time to launch your machine, and large number of the security options are available. AWS is very secure platform, public cloud platform. So AWS is a public cloud, right? And migration over AWS is very, very easy. If you want to migrate something either from the AWS or to the AWS, it's a very, very easy, right? So this is what exactly this somebody is asking, why AWS, why AWS is needed. So these are the main points you can focus on. Okay. So now guys, I'm just giving a little idea because this is a the first and introductory class. So I will show you how you can start your first machine. But before starting the first machine, I need to give you a little introduction about AWS Management Console. Means how you will log in into your AWS account, and then what all these are. And in the beginning, if you don't have AWS account, so I will ask you to register your AWS account and just have first of all AWS account with you. Let me show you. For example, let's say you don't have in the beginning. Let's say, for example, you don't have in the beginning your AWS account, right? So what you will do, you will open a browser, let's say write AWS free tier account, right? What you will write? AWS free tier account and press enter. And this is the first option available in front of you, right? You will click on this option. You will click on this option. And now see here, there is a one option available, create a free tier account. Click on a free tier account. You don't have a free tier account, you can just go and create a new AWS account here, right? AWS account. So when you click on an AWS account, it will ask for, so it means it will ask some information from you. So the first of all, you need to write, let's say, an email. Let's say I'm writing email abc@gmail.com. So this is a fake email, but in your case, you will write your genuine email. So that email could be a company's email or it could be a Gmail. Whatever the email ID is there, whatever you're using, you can type here. You type an account name that you want to see on account. Let's say you're writing Networking Kings or Network Kings. networkings, for example. Okay. And then you will click on verify email. So as you click on verify email, so on this abc@gmail.com, right, you will get some verification code. So you will read that verification code and you will type this verification code here, and then you will click on verify. I cannot continue because I don't have uh, that email ID to, means I don't have a separate email ID to create. You need two things you need: email ID and your telephone number. And please ensure that that email ID and telephone number was not used earlier to open any free account, right? You will verify the code and you will click, and it will ask for your telephone number, and it will ask to attach debit card or credit card, right? So whether you have a Visa card or right, another card, what do you call, say, Mastercard. So whatever the card you have, you can attach it. But AWS will only verify that you are the genuine from a specific location, right? So as you attach your debit card or credit card, AWS will debit 2 rupees from your card. But that 2 rupees you will get very next day, right? Means AWS will not charge anything. But why this credit card or debit card is being attached? It is being attached because AWS do not want that somebody should create a fake account, right? So if you are sharing your debit card, it means you are a genuine, and this is not a fake account. And once your account is created, it's absolutely free. So you have a username and a password, and you have to use a basic account. Just understand, you have to use a basic account. Basic account means you have not to use any paid account. So during the creation, it will ask, the first of all, you need to means provide your debit card information or credit card information, and then you have to choose a basic account, and your account is ready. You can choose that account. Now, once your account is ready, what you will do, you will go there and you will open your account. So this is very simple. You will open your account. Let me see. Here we go. Here we have account, AWS Management Console. I want to just go into the AWS Management Console. This is my email ID. I will put my email ID. This is my password. You click on sign in. And as you sign in, because my account is configured, my account is configured for MFA. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. So I'm reading this code from my mobile, and as you enter, you are in AWS. This is your AWS, right? Can you see? This is the first screen. This is known as console home. Hello, everyone. Can you see here? This is called the console home. Console
Yes,
home.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
In the console home, the number of things are there. This is the complete screen, the first screen you see here. On the top and left hand side, top corner, you can see AWS logo. So whenever you click on this AWS logo, you will always land on this console home, or sometimes this is known as AWS Management Console. And if you want to see the number of services in AWS, you simply click on services. So if you click on the services, a one pop-up screen will appear, and left hand side, these are the categories of the services, right? Or you can say these are the group of services. Let's say we have analytics services, application integration services, we have a compute services. Let's say I just click on compute services, and right hand side, these are the services. So compute is a group. Just understand, compute is not a service. Compute is a group. But right hand side, you can see the number of services within the compute. Similarly, if you see database, these are the database services, right? These are the database services like document DB, Dynamo DB, Elastic Cache, key spaces, memory DB. Similarly, if you just go down, you're going to see storage. In the storage, we have a multiple services, backup service, EFS service, elastic disaster recovery, EFS, S3. These are the services, right? Great. Now, this is search box. Whatever you want to search, you just put it here. For example, I want to search a service called EC2. I want to search a service called EC2. So I did type here EC2. As you type a keyword here, you can see the number of options available. You have the number of services with EC2. These are the services, right? These are the services. Then we have the features. These are the features. You can just move to anyone. You can use any one of these. These are the resources and the documentation related to the EC2, right? These all are the documentation. If you want to see all the documentation, we have a one option, show more. Scroll down, knowledge articles. We have a multiple knowledge articles. If you want to read any article, so the article heading is given here. The article detail is given here. How do I resize my EC2 instance or change EC2 instance type? So this is your knowledge article, right? Similarly, you have some marketplace option available. Then we have blogs. If you want to read any blog to enhance your knowledge, number of blogs are there. Even you can go there, show more, and open blogs here. Events. If you want to attend online or offline events, the events happens actually online, offline, both are available globally. So this is a place where you can see those events. So those events means if you want to attend to enhance your knowledge, you can attend the events as well. And we have a tutorials as well, right? These are the free of cost tutorials available. You can just go and see the free of cost tutorials to enhance your knowledge. So number of things are available, right? You just simply, you are not only basically the seeking any particular service. You can search multiple things. Means you put it here in the search box. Secondly, we have a terminal here, right inside. In the black strip, if you see right inside, you're gonna see my mouse, my hand icon, right? This is a terminal, or you can say it's a cloud shell. The cloud shell is known as terminal. So if you click on this, your terminal, your cloud shell is open. And from this cloud shell, you can take remote of your machines. Even you can write programs here. You can store some scripts here. You can store some important information here in this, right? These are available and these are free of cost. AWS is not charging anything for these. Okay, not an issue. Second is bell icon. Bell icon is for the notification. If you have any notification in your account, you will see the notifications here. Secondly, we have help center, or you can say support center. Here we have a support center. If you need a support or if you want to raise any ticket, you can choose this support center. Second, we have setting. These are the settings. You can change your visual mode as well. And these are the next is regions. These are the number of region. In which region you want to work. North Virginia and US, Ohio, California, Oregon, Mumbai, Osaka. This way, total 33 regions are available. How many? Total 33 regions are there. And in last, this is my account name. And this is your AWS account ID, 12-digit account ID. And every account has an individual account ID, right? Every account has an individual account ID. And this is the account detail you can find, service quotas you can find, even you can find bill here, right? You're going to find bill here. This is great. So guys, so this is about your the top line here, the black strip. Now these are the recently visited services. You can see these are the recently visited services by me in my AWS account, right? And these are the widgets. The some are showing about the billing information and how much you are consuming. So everything is given here, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just going to tell you how you can install, how you can install one machine. Just understand. Very simple I'll take. And for that, I'll choose a one diagram, right? Yeah. I want to provide us some practical, that's why I'm just taking here. See, I'm not teaching EC2, right? Just understand. I'm just telling you how you can install a machine and how you can take a remote. So the purpose is how you can install a machine. So the purpose is very simple. The purpose is very simple. How to, let's say, how to install or launch a virtual machine. And virtual machine, VM stand for virtual machine. The virtual machine. I think it is visible to all, right? I think how to install or launch a virtual machine in AWS, number one. So this is my first lab. I will show you how you can launch. So in this, I'm just going to take, let's say, Linux machine, right? First of all, I'll go for the Linux machine, Linux server. And then I'll go for Windows server, Windows server. And during that time, you will also learn how to take the remote of these machines, how to take remote of these virtual machine. Now, very interesting thing. I'm saying the virtual machine, but in AWS, the virtual machines are known as EC2 instances. What we call them as EC2. So, virtual machine, virtual machines in AWS are known as EC2 instances, right? Is it clear? Will you remember here? So the virtual machine is known as EC2 instance. Why EC2 instance? EC2 is a service, right? EC2 is a service. I'll teach you that service later on, one by one, step by step, right? But how to install? In order to install any machine, you have to use EC2 service. We have a number of services. So you want to see the number of services? So from where you can see all the services? Do you see this is the AWS console home, but you don't see the number of services? So there is an option called view all services. Hello. Do you see this? View all services. Click on view all services. And here we have a list of services. So compute is a group of service. Within the compute, EC2, light sail, lambda, batch, elastic beanstalk. So this way, all these are service. Each and every phrase is a service here. Now, in the container, we have a services. In the storage, we have services. Database is a group. We have a number of services. In the migration and transfer, networking and content delivery, developer, tools, customer enablement, robotics, blockchain, satellite, analytics, machine learning, media services, management and governance, and security, identity, and compliance, right? These all are services. That's why I was saying in AWS, if you count major and minor services, the total number goes beyond 1,500, right? So everything cannot be learned and it is not basically recommended. So you need to choose your vertical, what exactly you want to be using AWS. You want, are you a developer? Are you a security engineer? Are you a networker? Are you a solution architect? What exactly are you? Analytics? So means what exactly you want to do. And for the purpose, you will learn your services, right? Is it clear, everyone? Okay.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
now we are going back. And let's say very simple idea I'm giving here, right? I didn't start here. I'm just only telling you how you can launch your machine. I will teach this EC2 service later on very deeply with one by one with all components. But I want to give a little idea about the practical so that you can do some practical as well. Means once your AWS is created, once you have an AWS account, so let's definitely you would like to check that account whether that account is working properly or not. And for that, the best thing is you should create a machine on this. So I'm just going to launch my first virtual machine in AWS. The first virtual machine means EC2 instance. EC2 instance is known as virtual machine. So whenever you launch a virtual machine, the first thing is AMI. What is the AMI? AMI stand for Amazon Machine Image. It's a template of an operating system because here we are not using any physical drive. We are not using any pen drive. So we don't have a DVD drive to install operating system. And for that, we are using ready-made images of operating system. So those ready-made images are known as AMI. Those ready-made images are known as AMI, right? So AMI stand for Amazon Machine Image. So first of all, you have to choose AMI. Second, you have to choose the configuration for the machine. Every machine has a configuration. You always decide how much CPU and how much RAM is to be provided. And for that you need a instance type. You will choose an instance type. Instance type means you need to provide a configuration to the machine. So in AWS, if you are using a free tier account, AWS is providing T2.micro free of cost. In the T2.micro, one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM your machine will have. But you will think that, sir, is it feasible to launch a virtual machine with a 1 GB RAM and one virtual CPU? Yeah, it's sufficient because your entire infrastructure is on Xeon, Intel Xeon, right? Then the third component is EBS. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store, just like a hard disk. This is the hard disk of your virtual machine. This is the hard disk, right? So you will define the size of the hard disk. So in free tier account, up to 30 GB space is available free of cost. Means up to 30 GB you can provide a free of cost. So please don't select the size of the hard disk more than 30 GB. And you don't need that in practical, right? Even in 30 GB, you can install your Windows operating system very well. So not in 5. It's a 5. But practically the volume can go up to 16 TB, single volume. And this is SSD volume. Just understand. This is not a simple volume. This is your SSD volume, right? This is your SSD volume. Solid state drive. It's a very fast, extremely fast. And this volume size can go up to 16 TB. But we have to take only 30 GB, right? Just understand here. Now, the fourth component is your security group. What is a security group? Security group is a kind of an external firewall. Means in order to filter incoming and outgoing traffic, you need a firewall. You can control your traffic with the help of the firewall. I'll explain you, right? And this is the internet. And from the internet, you are the user, you have a laptop, and you will take the remote. But in order to take the remote, you don't need a password here. You need to provide a fifth component, which is a private key. So instead of a password, what we are using here, we are using private key, right? Private key is a more secure way to log in into your machine, right? So now one thing is very clear. The first thing, you need a AMI, then you need a instance type, which is the configuration, the size of the machine. And third is EBS volume, which is hard disk. Fourth is security group, which is a basically external firewall to control traffic. And a fifth is a private key. It's a basically cryptographic method to manage authentication on your machine, right? So these are the few things. So you will basically select all these at the time of installing this machine. Now I'm going back to my all services. So you click on this AWS logo, you will come back on console home, and here you will write EC2. EC2 is the name of a service, and with the help of EC2 you can launch machine. So first of all you will click on EC2, and you can see here what AWS writes about this EC2: virtual servers in the cloud. Means if you want to manage virtual servers, if you want to create virtual servers, the service name is EC2. Yes or no? Now you click on EC2 here. You click on EC2, you open the EC2. Right now, if you see right hand side on the top, I'm in Mumbai. In which region I'm working? Mumbai. The first of all, the very first thing that you will choose your region. You have to decide which region is suitable for my machine. Let's say I'm in India. So Mumbai is the nearest region for me. So I will choose Mumbai. Let's say your clientele is in America, somewhere in America, or maybe your clientele is somewhere in Britain, right? So you can choose London if your client is in Britain, because he will use this machine from the London, right? So you have to choose your region in a such a way that your your user and the machine, the distance should be least, right? So you have to keep the distance between your user and the machine minimum. Now, this is your EC2 dashboard. Left hand side, we have EC2 instances. You click on, we have two stopped instances here. When I say instance means server. We have two stopped instances. So you can see these two stopped instances means available in my account, but still AWS is not charging for these machines. Why? Because these machines are stopped, right? These machines are stopped. In AWS, actually you are going to use a free account, right? You are going to use a free account. So AWS says in free AWS account, in free AWS account, you have 750 hours free of cost, free of cost every month, per month. So in 1 month, you have 750 hours for machines, right? And the machine size must be T2 dot micro. Just understand that this is the machine size. T2 dot micro is the machine size, and you are going to get 750 hours free of cost per month in AWS free tier account. So you have not to worry. AWS will not charge anything from you. Okay, guys. Now I'm going to launch instance. Do you see this orange color button? Right? Do you see this orange color button? Now you will click on this launch instance, right? The instance name, let's say my server, right? Let's say my server. This is the name of my server. Scroll down. Here we have to choose AMI. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image, template of operating system, just like an ISO images, right? So here you will go and you will choose, let's say I'm choosing Linux here. I'm choosing Linux. So this is Linux. Number of Linux are there. So I'm choosing the free tier eligible here. Right. This is a free tier eligible. AWS will not charge anything for this resource. Now scroll down, and this is your instance type. See, just once I hit the button launch instance, you will start counting in your clock. So how much time it will take to launch your machine. It's an incredible fast, right? So launch instance type means instance type. The instance type I will take T2.micro. By the way, we have a number of other sizes also, right? But I'll not take those sizes. I'll take only T2.micro because it's available free of cost. In this, we will get one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM. And here we have a key pair for login. Key pair. Key pair means I don't have a key, for example. You don't have a key and you want a key for this machine. So what you will do, there is an option called create a new key pair. I'm in Mumbai, right? So keys are basically region specific. So you will click on create a new key pair and write the key pair. Let's say NK Mumbai key. Okay. And let's say 24 or say it's a 12 October. October. Fine. This is fine. Let's say this is my key name. You can write anything, right? And this is what? This is RSA. RSA is an algorithm. We have two algorithms to create a key. One is the ED25519 and another is RSA. RSA is very popular. And here, which is very, very important, we have a two type of file formats. One is a PAM format, another is a PPK format. PAM format is a more suitable, more popular way to select actually this PAM key. So my key should be in a PAM format so that I can use SSH command to take remote of this machine, because Linux uses SSH protocol to take remote, right? And here you can create a key pair. The key pair is done. So it will ask you to download the key. Let's say I'm using the download folder and I use this key. I downloaded this key. Great. And this is the network setting. I'm not touching any network setting. Let it be default VPC, right? Nothing to be done. But here in the firewall, this is the firewall setting. In the firewall, please ensure that the SSH is allowed, because this is a Linux machine. And if you want to take the remote of this Linux machine, SSH must be allowed. Now, configuration for the storage, block storage, I was talking about EBS, elastic block storage, your hard disk. So right now, it is taking only 8 GB size by default for your hard disk. So I think this is fine. This is okay. You can take up to 30 GB free of cost, right? And now click on launch instance. Simple. And start counting, right? You're going to start counting, scroll down and view all instances. And here you can just go and refresh button. And this is your server. This is your server. Can you see my server? This was my machine. I launched this machine. Right now, this machine is in a pending state. Right. This machine is in a pending state. Now this machine has been started. Can you see? This machine is ready. Great. How much time this machine took? Less than 1 minute. Hardly, I think 30-40 seconds it took to launch this machine. So within a 30 seconds, your machine is ready. Do you see the status of the machine? The status of the machine is running. Great. But this is a Linux machine, just understand. So how to take the remote of this machine? Very simple method I'll take. You don't need anything. Do you see this connect button? The first of all, you have to select the machine. You want to take the remote. And do you see this connect button? You simply go and click on the connect option. And here in the connection type, please ensure that connect using EC2 instance option is selected. The first one. The first option is selected. And this is the public IP address of your machine. This is the public IP address of the machine. And this is the user of your machine, EC2-user. And this user was not given by you. This user was in AMI. This user was in template of the machine. This user was in the image, right? Okay. Now simply go and click on connect. As you click on connect, see, it is going to connect your machine. Now you have been connected. Great. You took the remote of this machine. Isn't it? Simple. Your machine is ready and you took the remote of this machine. So this is a very simple method I'm telling you how you can take the remote of this machine. But if you want to take the remote of the machine from your laptop directly. So for that, what you have to do, you just go back, just close this tab. And what's the IP address, the public IP address of the machine? This is the public IP address of the machine, right? This is the public IP address of the machine. And you go to the CMD, let's say CMD. CMD is my command prompt for my laptop. I'm using my Windows laptop here. As a first of all, you will go to downloads folder. Why? Because my key is stored here. And what was the key name? The key name was, I think, the NK Mumbai key. Right. This was the key name. This was the key name. So you will choose SSH. You will choose write a command SH hyphen small I, right? And choose the key name, and then username EC2 hyphen user at the rate and IP address of the machine, public IP address of the machine. You have to type the public IP address of the machine. So this is the command SSH space hyphen I for insert key. This is the key. It is in a PAM format, right? Complete key name you need to put here with the extension .pam space EC2 user at the rate, and this is the public IP address of your server, and press enter and say yes. And you can see you took the remote of this machine. Simple, right? Only practice matters.
Okay, इधर गया.
Right? Only practice matters. You have to do some practice. So if you exit from here, you are out. You exited, right? This is fine. Now, and if you want to terminate this machine, if you want to delete the machine, terminate means you can delete the machine as well. How much time it will take? Let's say this is the machine. You go to the instance state and delete the instance or terminate the instance. You terminate the instance and the machine will be terminated. The same way you can also launch Windows machine. Let me show you how you can do that. Right. How you can do that. Let me show you. I think this is very simple. So it will be easier for you. You go to the launch instance. This time I'm launching Windows machine. Here you will write Windows web server. This time I'm choosing the web server, and I'll means configure this machine as a web server. And you will see it's very simple and it is not a difficult one. That's why people are using cloud instead of private data center, because you don't have a burden to manage your data center. You have not to manage routing. You have not to manage switches. You have not to manage connectivity. You have not to manage the storages. Nothing. Everything is managed by AWS here, right? So you just choose service, launch your machine, manage your machine, and do your business. That's all. Nothing else. So you have not to take care the other things. Let's say this is my Windows web server, and here I'm using a Windows operating system, right? This is my Windows operating system. This Windows operating system also is available free tier. And in the instance type, I can take one virtual CPU, 1 GB RAM, T2.micro. But here I'm giving you one demonstration that if you want, you can also use some paid resources. Let's say C5 large, right? Let's say I'm choosing C5X large. I'm choosing what I'm choosing C5X large. If you are choosing C5X large, in this you have 4 virtual CPU and 8 GB RAM. Imagine, right? So you have a 8 GB RAM and it's a paid one, right? So some estimated on demand price is given. This means you will pay 0.354 USD per hour. So you have an estimated, because this is a Windows machine. because I'm launching Windows machine on this configuration. So you will pay $0.354. So and here we have a key. If you want, you can choose the same key earlier we have used with the machine. So I think this is better. I can choose the same key. If you want, you can create a new key as well, right? And this is a network setting. And in the firewall, because I want to make my machine as a web server, RDP is already there. Good. Because here we will not use SH, we will use RDP because it's a Windows machine. And I also want to enable HTTP traffic for internet, right? And 30 GB space is already taken for my EBS SSD volume. And now you can just click on launch instance. Your machine is launched. And this is a Windows machine, just remember, right? This is not a Linux machine. The Linux machine usually takes less time, and a Windows machine takes a little more time. If you scroll down and if you want to see the status of the machine, great, your machine is ready. Do you see? Your machine is running, and the instance type is C5.x large. This is a configuration of your virtual machine or virtual server, and this is the name of the virtual server, right? This is the name of the virtual server. Here we go. Now, if you just move down a little, so how you can take the remote of this machine? This is the major point. So either you can use RDP of your machine, right? Or you can directly go to connect button. And we have a RDP client here. Do you see RDP client here? You click on RDP client. In RDP client, connect using RDP client. And we have a get password first. So very first, you need to take the password. You need to decrypt the password from the key, from the private key. You need to decrypt the password first. So you will click on get password and upload the private key. And this is the name of the private key, NK Mumbai 12th October. So you will upload the private key, choose the key. This is the key name, open, and this is the content of the key, right? Scroll down, decrypt the password, and this is your password. Do you see here? Very complex. You cannot remember this password. So you copy this password somewhere, right? You copy this password and now download RDP. You click on the RDP, right? You can just click on the RDP and here open the RDP, connect the RDP and see how actually it will respond, right? Shouldn't take much time here. Why this is not running? Let me just find out RDP from here. What's the IP address? IP address, IP address, IP address of the machine. IP address is fine. I think the IP address is 15.206.127.44. I don't know, something is wrong. Why it is not? Let me check its security group, right? Let me check its security group. Let me check the security. This is the security group. Yes. RDP was removed. Why RDP is removed? You're gonna just go there. So from anywhere, say this is fine. You go back to the instance here. This is your instance. You go connect. Let's say it will happen automatically. I don't know. Maybe while I was just teaching you, I deselected that one. Get the password. Again, this is my key to decrypt the password. You go decrypt the password. The password is decrypted. This is the password. Download RDP, right? Go RDP. And here we have a RDP. Go connect. And this is the password. You paste the password. Okay. Yes. And this is your machine, right? This is your machine. It won't take much time because it's opening very first time. Because this is a Windows operating system. When you open operating system first time, it usually take a few seconds to settle down, right? So this is done. Now I need to configure this machine as a web server. You simply just like very simple server manager. Need you open a server manager. Go to add role. It will take a little time to. It is collecting. You can see on the top. So it is collecting information from the server. That will take few seconds. This is basically the nature of Windows operating system. Now add a role. Go to next. Select the role based or feature based installation. That's fine. Next. And very last option, the very third last option is a web server. So you will choose web server, add feature, next, 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 nothing to be done, install. And it will be installed. Right. It will be installed. It will definitely take little time. Few seconds it will take. And it will be installed. Can you see here? Hmm. So the installation is in progress. Installation is in progress. Done. You can close this. And your default IIS server or web server on this machine has been configured. So how to check this? You will go back to the machine, right? Sorry. This is your machine, Windows Server. This is the public IP address. You copy this public IP address, right? Copy this public IP address and paste this IP address in, let's say, in a browser and see what will happen, right? So this is the default page. I'm also sharing this URL in your meeting chat, right? This is the URL. Even if you click on this URL, you will find the same page in your computer. Do you see the same page in your computer? This is called Internet Information Services, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So this way you configured it. Let's say you don't need this. You don't need this instance anymore. Let's say you don't need this because this is a paid resource from my side. So how much time I use for this machine? Let's say I used 10 minutes for this machine. So I will pay only for the 10 minutes, right? So I'm going to terminate this machine. Let's say terminate this machine. So you saw that how to configure Windows machine, how to launch Linux machine, and how to launch Windows machine, and how to take the remote of these machines. Very simple. You're going to see within half an hour, you understood means everything is done. And I'm teaching here, right? So that's why I'm taking time. Otherwise, you don't take much time to launch it. Okay. Now I'm coming back. So what should be the other services? In my next class, I'll start with let's say virtualization. What is a virtualization? Right. Yeah. These are the pages actually. These are the pages. What is a virtual machine? What is a virtualization? How virtualization works? I'll explain you each and everything. Right? Can you see here? And then the virtual data center. What is a virtual data center? Or what is a data center virtualization and how it works? Because the same concept you will use in AWS. That's why it's very important to understand how actually all these things are working behind the scene, right? And then we'll start with AWS global infrastructure. I told you multiple things are there: region availability zone, edge location, direct connect, local zone, wavelength zones. We will learn everything one by one, what all these are. And after that, we will start AWS services. So I can tell you in the beginning, I told you we have approximately 200 services, and every service has a purpose, right? Every service has a purpose. So let me show you. Let's say the purpose of the machine is, for example, instance. If you want to create an instance, if you want to create a virtual machine, the service is EC2, right? And you must be knowing about the containers. What are the containers? The container also is a kind of a virtual machine, lightweight virtual machine. If you want to create and manage containers, the service name is ECS, Elastic Container Service. And we have a storage service. For the block storage, for your hard disk, we have a service called EBS, Elastic Block Store. For object storage, we have a S3 service. For network means storage, or you can say NAS, network attached storage, we have a service called EFS or FSX. EFS is for Linux and FSX is for Windows. For networking, we have a service VPC. For application firewall, WAF, web application firewall. These are the services, right inside services, left inside the purposes. And this is what we have: a protection against malware. We have a service shield, the run application without server, Lambda, application deployment, Elastic Beanstalk, which is the platform as a service, archiving data, Glacier is a service, backup data, AWS backup, DNS services, Route 53. For users, groups, role, permission, we have a service IAM, Identity and Access Management. The design infrastructure by code, cloud formation. For load balancers, we have a service ELB. For scaling, auto scaling. For database services, RDS and DynamoDB. And the port traffic filtration services security group. So this way, we have almost 200 services. So a few examples I gave you here, right? very few examples I gave you. And after this, so in my next class, I'll start with, let's say, what should be the flow of the classes, flow of course, or you can say training. The first I will teach you about virtualization, then AWS global infrastructure, right? Just a minute. So the after virtualization is AWS global infrastructure, and after that I'll start my first service. And what is the first service? The first service I will start with EC2. EC2 stand for Elastic Compute Cloud, right? Compute Cloud. So this would be the flow of the training. This would be the flow of the training, right? Just understand all these, very, very important. All these are very important. Sorry, I think I should have, yeah, okay. This is the flow. So guys, tomorrow is Sunday, right? Today is Saturday. Tomorrow same time will it be okay? Madan and Manohar.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we are closing the session for the day.
Yeah,
If
you
you have
can.
any question, if you have any question, please let me know.
No, first we have to create the account. After that, if any doubt in class or after that, then we can. Today is no doubt.
No, okay. Not an issue. Just first of all, just try to create your account and then start doing, because the recording access will be available to you, right? You
Yes.
will have a recording access. So if you don't understand, you can just watch the recording first. And once the job is done, it's fine. But if you face any issue, if you face any challenge, please let me know, right?
And one things I want to request you, because we are means doing training for the Naukri or something means on Naukri.com and so on. So just what were the important question that someone into ask or someone that you can just this type of question will arise, or this type of activity he will ask, this type of query
Madan,
he will.
I got your concern. Madan, we have just started this course. So after 4 or 5 classes, you should have something to prepare on that, right? And one by one, step by step, I will cover each and everything. I know your concern. This is a good idea that you are giving, because while we are teaching, we should basically train our uh, candidates for the interview as well as for the certification. Correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. मैं उसको डालता रहूंगा. No worry, right? We'll keep you basically updating for that. So I think this is fine. So we'll meet tomorrow same time,
Sure,
11
sir.
o'clock.
Okay. Thank you,
Have
sir.
a nice day, Griya.
Okay.
Have a
Thank you,
nice
sir.
day.
Thank you.